So I'm back. I didn't know if I was going to do this anymore. I just was kind of bored with it. But the mean comments keep me going. I really like being called a big mean turd. That really made it for me. So I'm going to try to start doing these again. So today we have Christina, and I gotta admit, I'm not really a fan of her. I know she did well, I'll give her props for that, but as you can see, I'm just not really a fan, so warning if you're a Christina stan. So let's take a look at our starting stats here. We have Christina Phillips, age 22, at a whopping 639 pounds. So let's take a look at our house here. Looks like Christina's from South Haven, Missouri. It looks like she's in some kind of apartment building. Not too much to snark on here, but they do keep their bushes nice and trimmed. And here's our girl Christina lounging on her medical bed. It's sob story time, and Christina tells us that by 7th grade she was 300 pounds. That always amazes me how big they get so early on. So Christina explains that she turned to food because her parents argued a lot when she was a child. That's okay and stuff, but look at Papa Christina there. That shirt and his hair. He's just a style icon. So this is Christina's sister. She explains that Christina was like a second mama to her. The cameraman stops the drama for a moment to show us this lovely lymphedema. That is crazy. I bet that chafes like crazy. She may have that crazy lymphedema, but she does have the husband slave. Christina was smart. She did snatch that husband slave up at the tender age of 18. It's been love at first sight for those two lovebirds. She did gain 300 pounds since being married, and that wasn't all husband. And scrub-a-dub-dub, it's bath time as Christina's mom comes to help. Christina's husband explains that this is their sexy time, and it is a calling from God to take care of her. As any good enabler does, Christina's mom brings her some McDonald's. Probably within hours, Christina's mom is sent out once again to get food. It's time to play Guess the Drive-Thru. I don't know, but they do have nibblers. Look at the smile she has when Christina is eating. She has that James K. wife smile, like where she's like, I'm going to get me some more welfare. Eat up, James. We're only 8 minutes in, and we're on our pilgrimage to Houston. I miss these days. They pull up to the Now Now's office, and Christina is overwhelmed. She is crying in that parking lot. Overly dramatic scale time, and Christina weighs in at 639 pounds. There he is, my favorite Persian potato, and he has a very important question. Who bring the food? He calls out the mama and the husband right off the bat, and they're like, oh, no. He's like, I guarantee you do. He must have saw footage of that smirk. Christina is handed the classic sentence of 30 pounds this month. We are officially in month 1 and we're moving to Houston. This is where I don't like Christina, the whole scene coming up here. Okay, so here's my whole problem with Christina, and I just can't get over this. She refused to even try to walk up a ramp. Not stairs, a ramp. So she's making them wheel her fat butt up the ramp. All 600 pounds of her. And she's sitting there cussing them out, dropping the F-bomb. If I dropped the F-bomb on my parents, and I'm 35, I'd be knocked into the next state still. It's so disrespectful. You don't talk to your parents that way. I think this is her true colors showing. My husband had cancer and he was crippled, and he would walk up a ramp. And he wouldn't make me will him. And then I know that they're enablers, but they are redoing their whole lives for her, moving to a different state, and she's just acting like a little brat. This is really her true colors, and I'm sorry, I can't see past this, because I think this is the real Christina, not the one we see on the show. So rant aside, we are in month 2 now, and we're going to Dr. Now's office. She hopes she didn't do too bad, but spoiler alert, she did. Overly dramatic scale time, and Christina has gained 17 pounds. You know you're in trouble when the Now puts you down at the table. He's like, why did you gain all this weight? And she tries to say it's water weight. And he's like, you'd have to drink 300 gallons of water to gain that much weight. It's fat. I love that excuse. That's my favorite one they come up with is the water weight. So once again, the enablers get called out, and Christina does not look happy about it. Christina is sentenced to hard time at St. Anthony's. Dr. Now explains that this is the only way to get her away from her enablers. Her family does not believe that she is on her deathbed. We're now in month 3 and Christina is on a 1,000-calorie a day diet. I'm not gonna lie, that chicken looks gross. I can't even record because it's grossing me out. Even though the chicken is gross, the princess won't eat it anyhow, so she starts screaming at her husband, "No! I can't not stand this chick. I'm sorry." So even though the princess weighs 600 and something pounds, Mama still thinks she needs fast food or she's gonna waste away. Can't have that princess wasting away. And thanks to that logic, Christina only lost 4 pounds. Amazing. Note my sarcasm. So she gets grilled by Dr. Now and they all lie, even though they literally filmed a hamburger like 5 seconds earlier and he points out Coke everywhere. But she's still getting lipedema surgery. So 3 days later, the lipedema is going to be taken to the pork rind factory. Dr. Now did explain that he's doing this now because he doesn't think she'll last and he wants to get her more mobile. I think they should have banned everyone from her hospital room or searched them or frisked them for burgers. I don't know. But I think that would have happened in today's show. But I guess he was a softie. Good. What a sin. My boy cut his hair. Dr. Hottie, you cannot cut that beautiful hair of yours. It always makes me laugh when they pick up the lymphedema in masses like that with the tweezers. Like, ew. I'd be swinging it around. Woo-wee! And it's a big one. Almost 19 pounds. I bet Dr. Now goes to the bar and tells these fish stories. And he exaggerates his lymphedema stories. As soon as Christina is off the slab, her family is right there babying her. "Oh, what's wrong, baby? You hurting?" "No crap, she's hurting. They just chopped off her leg." Well, not her leg. You know what I mean. She is going to be hurting. They just baby her. That's probably why she's such a spoiled brat. We're in month 4, and Christina is actually up and walking around. So this must be when she finally turns around and gets on track, and then she gets way too on track. Spoiler alert. Month 5 is here, and it's time to see that scale. We're going to see if walking back and forth did anything for her. The painfully dramatic scale says 595. That's 61 pounds lost. You go, Glen Coco! And she gets approved for the great stomach harvesting. Month 6 is here, and Christina is getting ready to get on that slab. I've been sleeping on the husband style there. Backwards cap and all. Yay, my boy grew his hair back. Yay! But anyhow, just a side story why we're here. I don't know where else to insert it. I did get a cameo from Dr. Now. And I asked about my boy Dr. Hottie. His name is Mosin, if you don't know. You can see him more on Skin Tight. But I wasn't creepy I think your assistant's hot. I was just like, hey, what's up with your assistant? How'd you meet? And blah, blah, blah. Dr. Now answered within hours. I was hoping that he would have dragged my boy Dr. Hottie in just for a cameo on cameo. But he seems like he's kind of a shy guy, but that would have been great. But hearing Dr. Now say my first name in his accent was worth it. I mean, that cameo made my life probably. But anyhow, that's my side story. Back on track here. She's getting a bypass. Instead of an object, we just get ounces. That's kind of disappointing. So her new stomach's going to be 2 to 4 ounces. Christina is out, and that stomach has been harvested. It's in the trophy room now, Christina. And Christina's mom's right there, and that's alright. If they could finally click that they baby her too much and are enablers. 2 days later, Christina is set free, and she has lost 84 pounds since she's been hospitalized. Christina is home, and her sister is pregnant, not with a food baby, a real baby. Christina's family begins to eat delicious looking food right in front of her. That's so rude, but it is kind of funny. They only offer her a popsicle. Another month down, and Christina is driving. She is also down to 536 pounds. Watch out, Houston. Month 8 is here, and Christina has drove herself to Dr. Now Now's office. Does anyone else have this problem with Discovery Plus? It'll be fine, but then it can't buffer and it gets all pixelated all the time? Or is it just me? It doesn't matter where I connect to the internet to. So I apologize for my pixelated picture. Painfully dramatic scale says 533. She only lost 2 pounds. That's not good. Woo! Truer words have never been spoken. Christina gets grilled and says she only eats 1 to 2 times a day. Alright, in this scene, she looks like Amberlynn Reed, when she gets caught lying too. She tells Dr. Now that her stomach always hurts when she eats, and Dr. Now just looks like no shit. I mean, that is Dr. Now's classic no shit face right there. Another month passes and Christina is still hurting. Her mom is by her bed, as always. The next day, Christina is rushed to the hospital. As you can tell by this scene, they're rushing. So it turns out she was having a gallbladder attack, and they're going to have to crack her open and take that gallbladder out. Those do suck. I don't know if you ever had one, but all you could do is just be in a fetal position. So I don't blame her for wallowing in bed. It's just her mom was just so much baby in there again. That just drives me crazy. And it's all bagged up. Remind me never to trick-or-treat at Dr. Now's house. You never know what's in his goodie bags. Christina is out, and her mom says she looks good. I don't think so, but, good try. Christina had a hard time recovering from her surgery and spent 3 weeks in the hospital. She missed the birth of her nephew, but now she's being sprung free. She finally gets a chance to see that baby burrito. Month 10 is here, and it's literally a walk in the park. I can't figure out what is on Styling Papa's shirt. Month 11's here, and if you watch this in National Show, look at the pot leaf. When she turns on her light, that pot leaf just lightens up the whole room. It's just like, woo, I'm here! Love is in the air, as both of them can now fit in the same bed. I actually did not see him behind her in that first shot. I just thought I'd throw in this sexy leg shaving scene in for y'all. Ooh, sexy! Christina is grocery shopping. I really like the vintage aesthetic of this grocery store. I wish I could read what the name was on the front there. I cannot read it. I would look it up. I just like how she's being wheeled in a wheelchair and she's bottle feeding the baby at the same time. Month 12 is here, and Christina is checking out the local colleges. She wants to go in the nursing field. I totally laughed when her husband walked in. He's looking up at the ceiling. He's like, wow, so tall. 2 weeks later, and we're getting ready for a fashion show as Christina is clothes shopping. Vogue. She could use some color. I don't know if all black's a good look. There we go. There's some color. Another 2 weeks passes, and we're going to see Dr. Now for the last time in this episode. Painfully dramatic scale says 390. That's 266 pounds lost. I'm not used to seeing this after the last 2 seasons. Woo! I'm going to have a heart attack. And with that, Christina gets a I'm proud of you. That is the best compliment you can get from Dr. Now. And with that, it's time to find our villain and give this episode a rating. So, for our villain, we have gallbladders, because they're absolute dicks. And on to the rating for the episode. I give it 4 out of 5 enablers. In summary, while I do not like Christina, I find her to be a spoiled brat, she did do well, and it is kind of refreshing to look back compared to the last couple seasons. Next time we have Paula. I don't remember much about her, so it'll be interesting to go back and see. See you on the snark side.